Hi everyone, Iris here for this week's discussion. And for this week's discussion, we are addressing challenging behaviors and building positive relationships. For this discussion, we are to provide 5 effective sales strategies to address challenging behaviors and proactively build positive relationships. The first strategy comes from the YouTube video titled Build Positive Relationships with Students by National Education Association. And one of the strategies is to build positive relationships with our students by showing interest in their life outside of the classroom and letting them know that they are more than just a student. They are a person with interests, a person with things that excite them. And us as educators, we want to get to know our students on a more personal level. And this creates a positive student to teacher relationship, and it creates a safe environment in the classroom where students feel comfortable enough to interact with the learning material and enter the learning pit. The second strategy I would use is shout outs. This idea comes from the YouTube video titled 60-Second Strategy Shout Outs by Itchtopia. A shout out is a positive comment given from one student to another, or from the teacher to a student, and a shout out encourages participation and build a positive classroom atmosphere. The third strategy, I would like to use collaboration, and I got this idea from The Social Classroom by Itchtopia, and it states that most of us thrive as learners when we work together. And I agree with this. I believe that students need to be able to interact with one another, bounce ideas off of one another, have conversations. And I would provide this by having centers, by having group work, or by having partner work, just to have that time for them to be able to vocalize what they're thinking, to be able to vocalize any questions that they may have. And they sometimes learn better from one another than they do from the teacher. So that's something I would like to implement in my classroom. The fourth strategy I would implement in my classroom is to be mindful of my tone, my volume, and my posture. Most students don't like to be disciplined publicly, and it's hard to discipline privately in such a public area. But the idea behind the tone, volume, and posture comes from a video titled Compassion-Based Strategy for Managing Classroom Behavior by Ki Sung. And the idea is to discipline them privately. And you can do this, by using proximity to your advantage, maybe just walking around that student and, kind of tapping them on the shoulder so that they know, it's time to calm down or let's get back on track. Sometimes that works and you're not embarrassing them in front of the whole classroom. And, that's the only idea I can think of, posture, tone, and volume. But if you have any more suggestions, I'm open to hear you out. And then my last strategy is to have clear, simple rules and expectations, and also to create a classroom routine. I think creating a routine allows students to know what are we supposed to be working on, and it helps them keep them on track, minimizing the opportunity for them to be disruptive or for them to be off task or for them to having behavioral issues. And that is my week's discussion, and thank you for listening.